Hey guys, pretty sure I'm live. Let me know if there's any problems with hearing or seeing. It's a bit better. That's right where the light area is going to be as well. I've just gone to erase something off my paper to then pick up an eraser, which has got stuff on it which shouldn't be there. So now it's marked my paper and it's in the light area, so it's not like it can be easily disguised. So I shall frantically try and repair that while I wait for you guys to log on. Hi Stace, how are you? Hi Joe, how you doing? That's really annoying. Look, it's right behind me as well, so you can't see it. Can you hear me okay? Hi Georgina, how are you? Oh, it's so annoying. Can you see? Look. I don't even know what it's from. So frustrating. I should be running on low latency, which hopefully, means that there shouldn't be too much of a difference between what you hear and what I see on the computer. Bro, okay, you can hear me. Hi Sharon. Bon is just fine. Happy to be called Bon. Hi Evie. I can't get rid of it, not even with Scotch tape, and Scotch tape cures everything. Oh, so annoying. I'm going to have to be clever and work my way around that, I think. So I'm going to zoom you out so you can get a full view, but if you're in my group and you want to have a go, then you know the reference picture has already been uploaded with the line work. If you're not part of the group, I have linked in the description, I hope, the link to my Facebook page, which also has the line work and the reference as well. So for you guys that are not as familiar with doing fur and things like that, I have actually put red arrows on the image. So what that will do is help you understand understand the fur direction. So if you've ever had issues in the past about getting the fur in the right direction, then this gives you a bit of a guidance as to, I quite often talk about clocks, but this gives you an idea of roughly which direction you've got to go. If that's something you find helpful going forward, I can do that on more of the references that I do. Are many of you going to have a go? I know people that aren't in my group wouldn't have been aware of the reference and things like that. But so the point of today is that we are not going to do the standard colours that you would expect to see a tiger in. I did a live feed on TikTok yesterday and I was really pleased with the colours that I ended up using because I was being really lazy and I couldn't be bothered to get any more out my drawer. And I was literally using what I had on my desk at the time. But I adored the way it came out. So I decided that that's what we're going to do. So the tiger that I have given you the line reference and everything for is going to be done like this. I'm going to move it slightly so you haven't got so much light shining on it. So I was doing something earlier with acrylic and then it wasn't in the centre, so I went over it in black. Oh, shock, horror. So the colours I've chosen to do mine in There's still a massive delay between us all. That's crazy. That must be about 30-40 seconds. Hi, Flaming Turner. You'll have to forgive me because I do forget everyone's name if their name is not their channel name. So, hi. I know there's a mic. I remember that much. Hi, Erica. Yeah, so this is the colour that I have chosen to do my tiger in. So I've got the colours here and I'm literally limiting my palette to purples and blues. I've got greys to do what would be the white areas. So you're more than welcome to use cold greys. I suggest cold greys. I wouldn't use warm. Nick, right. See, honestly, I started writing a little list, but it went missing. Here it is. Oh, Midnight is Mike. See, I'm trying. Please forgive my... I'm just going to put Flaming. Nick. Please forgive me. Okay. So, yeah, use cold greys, ideally, for the white areas. And I would just for the teeth, just to keep it a bit consistent. The mouth... I don't know how we're going to tackle that yet. I think we're just going to approach it as we get down to that area. But all my dark or what would be black stripes on the tiger. So this is the reference that we are doing. So all the black is going to be purple. All my white I'm going to do with the cold greys and blend with white. Pretty sure I had you on thingy. And then everything that is... orange is going to be blue. So pick your... Thank you, Stace. Pick your colours and try and stick with no more than 2 hues. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. Let's move that out of the way. Is that blurry still? I might turn that light down a tiny touch too. Okay. So a hue is a colour. So that is a... These will be out of focus. So that is a pink hue. That is a blue hue. And then on and on and on and on. Quite often... we refer to things as tones. Tones is actually if you start adding grey. And we quite often use tones as a quick and instant term for colour. But actually that's not right. Tone is when we start adding greys. Saturation is when we start adding whites or more colour. And then of course you've got monochromatic, which is the same colour, just different variations of it. So... I've gone for the purple. So this is my light purple. Down camera. Light purple, medium purple, and my dark purple. So they're the only 3 I'm going to use in the purple range. I've got my blue, my light blue, and my dark blue. Was it that one? It's that one. Sorry. So they're the 3 blues that I'm going to be using. When we come to the greys, I'm going to have white. I'm going to have a variation of cold greys. But I'm also going to have my dark indigo. And that's going to act as our shading for all the really dark areas. And I will add these on top of all of these colours. No worries, Emily. So this just gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm going to have in my palette. But I'll go through it with you. I'm going to have Payne's Grey. Because that's part of my cold grey section. And then I'm going to have, as I say, just a variety of cold greys. But I've also got this one, which is dark grey from the Pablo, because I actually really like it. But that's probably the only pencils I'm going to use. I want to try and really limit how many we have, because I know that some people find colours quite overwhelming. So if I can narrow the choices down, then it just makes it less overwhelming. Does everything make sense? Any questions before we get started? PS, I've broken my swordfish pointy sharpening those pastels, so I'm going to be using the T-Hoo, which is a bit noisy. In fact, I'm going to move it away from the micro. I was going to call it a microwave then, microphone. Hopefully the light is a bit better. It's not so in my face. I've managed to get it all organised, but it's such a nice colour combination. I'm probably going to go more with my gut than follow the reference. So if you want to do a doodles, then do the same. Hi Gary. But if you prefer to follow the reference as much as you can, then please do so. So as I say, I will probably end up just going with the flow. I've done so many tigers in my time now. So yeah, should we just crack on then? Let's just crack on. I'm probably going to do the eyes pretty similar to what I have done here. So if you want me to zoom in any more, let me know. I don't know how far I can. Quite far. So you're going to go in focus, or are you going to be silly? Oh, that is in focus, okay. Right, I'm going to start on the left eye. And we're just going to go from there. So if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I was trying to be neat, but I guarantee all the pencils will be all over my desk pretty soon. I'm going to do it now to stop me from reaching for pencils I don't need. Blue tack. Just going to lighten some of the lines as we go. Reference on my pad in front of me. I don't know what reflection or shadow is making the pupil a diamond shape, but I actually really like it. I've sort of zoomed in from the reference because I wanted to have a good portion of the eyes that was visible, and if I had it on the original, you've completely lost me, haven't you? Damn technology. Yeah, the eyes would be too small, and I hate drawing small eyes. I much prefer to be getting in there with detail. So I'm starting off with my blue. You can start off with whatever colour you want. If you want to do similar colours to me, I'm using the Pablo blue turquoise at the moment. And then for what would be the orange parts of the tiger's eye, I'm going to come in with the purples. I don't have vertigo, but I do suffer from migraines. You've been suffering lately. And if I want to do any blending, I will use greys or whites on the eyes. Could you practice on the line work if you wanted to? Tigers, I'm in. Hi. Right, that's Mike, isn't it? See, I wrote that one down. Migraines can really make you nauseous, though. Tigers with a difference tonight. Because of the lighting that the photo was taken on, his eyes are really quite bright. So I've just literally gone from my light colours working down to my darks to create the 3D effect. This is Polychromo's version of Violet. This is Polychromo's version of Violet. This is Pablo's version of Violet. So I'm using both the Violets but different brands. So how is everyone at the moment? Keeping sane? If it's not snowing, it's raining. Our garden's pretty much like a marshland right now. I'm going to use the lightest of my cold greys, or I'm going to use my white. I will probably use white, and I'm just going to smudge in from the blue to push that into that white area. You can use black. I haven't got a problem with people using black at all. Just make sure you get all your undertones in there nicely first. I'm just blending over the whole lot, just to soften it all up. Black's there, although I won't use it yet. I'm going to use some dark indigo. And then my black. And I'm just going to work on darkening sections of the eye. I wish this section of my work would go away. Oh, what bit are you doing? Headache, chesty, tired, but apart from that, fantastic, thank you. You better not have that COVID, mister. Slightly migraine. Wow, I'll tell you what, I reckon it's something in the air. I'm not too bad today, actually. Don't want to tempt fate. I woke up with a bit of a bad head, but it sort of disappeared through the day, so I was quite grateful. Tell you, it doesn't matter how often or what I do to make this pad silent, it still gives me notification noises. probably going to do is work on the fluff around the eye, and then I can work out whether I want the eye to get any darker. Noise. Oh, maybe not. I always put my lid on wrong. I would have thought they'd make it so it only goes on one way, but nope. Would help if I plugged it in, wouldn't it? Alright, my lighting might go a bit weird. Waiting on the results of someone in work. Oh, okay. Fingers crossed. Learning dementia care. Oh, you said you were doing that, yes. Yeah, I imagine it's pretty heavy going, actually. Right, I've realised there's some line missing off of the line work, so you'll have to sketch that in when you come to it. But I've done the under eye bit. I'm going to just do that so you can see. Right, that's that. That's that. That's all that. So that needs to come across like so. You've lost the camera now, haven't you? Don't you love technology? Not? I am still here. I'm just trying to fix the camera.
What's happened to that?
Oh. Both the cameras have gone because I put the electric charger in. Yeah. I don't know why it's suddenly not powered enough. I have lost my webcam and I have lost my normal cam, so it's going really flipping well right now.
Is the window shut?
Well, it's not that because it's all USB.
USB plugged in properly.
Yes, it's because there's not enough power to power everything.
Okay.
Because I'm too tight to spend 100 quid on a decent USB hub.
Can you get that through like Argos or something? Product placement. I've got available.
Oh dear. There we go. Right, the camera's back at least.
Is it? Yeah. Is it?
Goodness sake. That's one camera back. Now to get the other camera back. It was a bit dark, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, a bit too dark. And we're back. Okay. We okay now? Oh, hello. Don't want that, do we? Honestly, just would be nice if something could go like semi-right. I'm just fiddling with the settings because it's all being silly. Okay. I've done 5 printouts of the template and it's still not perfect. In what way? Right, can we see this clearly? We can, can't we? Before it drives me utterly bonkers. Crazy. Right, I'm going to use my Payne's Grey to base layer the black section of the eye. So anything that's mouth or flesh, like around the eyes and inside the jaw, I'm going to keep fairly natural colours, which is why you can carry on using your greys, your blacks, etc. It's only really the fur and the eyes that I'm going to be doing in the different colours. So at the minute, the actual black bit that we get around the eye section, I will probably pink this section out, but this bit here I want to keep in the dark colour. In the group, lovely. It's in the group. In the way that I can't use a printer. Oh. What's the first thing you remember drawing at school? Honestly, I've actually got it here. Do you want to see it? And this legitimately is the first thing I remember drawing at school. The first thing I have a vivid memory of. I don't have much of my old schoolwork at all. I think it all sort of got binned over the years. Okay. This is it. Let me zoom you out a bit and then you can, there you go. There you go. Age 9 3/4. So that would have been 1989. Yeah, 1989. Yeah, something like that. No, 1986 and a bit, nearly 1987. Something like that. But yeah, 9 3/4. And I copied the book cover from the library that we had. So yeah, my friend kept it all these years. Incredible, really. My whole life I've been fascinated with dragons and medieval stuff and just the whole fantasy type of thing. I just absolutely love it. I wasn't even born then. Don't even go there, Stace. Don't even go there. It was my birthday on the 13th of February and I turned 43. Yeah. Getting old. I don't feel it though. I feel 93. My body feels 93. My brain feels 23. I can still see that. Do you want to zoom you back in a little bit? Thank you, Stace. Thank you, Georgina. Thank you, Soz. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but I'm absolutely crap at being able to pronounce it. I'd like to say you're as young as the man you feel, but my man's 44 soon, so that's not going to help. Thank you for my belated birthdays. And I apologise for the lack of live feed last week. I won't go to the ins and outs, but right, Payne's Grey. Dark indigo. As in sows. Is that better? Sows like toes. Does it have an accent on that O? Maddie's going to be 12 this year. Can you believe that? No, I can't. It's like, what? And Amelie's going to be 10. She's going to be 10 going on 30. I mean, like, seriously. I am feeling better now, yeah. Yeah, I sort of dealt with it in the way that I knew the best way to deal with it, so, and it seems to be more improved, which you can't ask for more than that, really, can you? If it's any consolation, I miss the 80s by a week. Oh, that's not a consolation. The 80s, in my opinion, were not the best decade. I remember saving up for my very, very first portable tape player. I don't think it was a CD player. I think it was a tape player where you could take the speakers off and put them somewhere else. So obviously they were wired, but it had a really, really long wire. It was bright red. And I saved up all my pocket money and it cost me a tenner. Tenner for a little stereo. Don't get much for that nowadays. I remember the halfpenny. I don't think they got rid of them much longer after I remember them, if that makes sense. Can't remember what year they got rid of the halfpenny. Right, this bit cuts off to the side here. And then all of this is nice and solid in here. Move that light a bit because I know that you've got a fair whack of reflection happening. Do you think so? I didn't mind the 80s music, but I did think there was some quite tropey stuff going on. Yeah, I don't remember the pound notes. I know we had pound notes. And like you could literally walk out the shop and have a whole bag full of sweets for £1.
You had a pound? I had 10p.
I did have a pound. You had 10p. Yeah, but you got 10 sweets for 10p. You can't grumble at that.
No, it was penny sweets, but a pound.
All my money ended up getting spent back on my mum.
Basically, even a 50p was the size of that.
Dinner plate, yeah.
Everyone's pants stayed up.
I always got really excited if I could afford to buy one of them foam those aeroplanes.
Oh yeah.
Sugar paper, that was one of my favourite things to buy.
So you could draw on it.
I didn't draw on it actually. Why didn't I think of that? I just stole the toilet paper from school. I think back then I would have died from toxic poisoning if I'd drawn on it and then ate it. 20p off the Tooth Fairy. I don't remember getting any money off the Tooth Fairy actually. I must have. When budgeons was fashionable as well. You very rarely see them nowadays. Budgeons, yeah.
There's loads of them.
Yeah, not down here there isn't.
No. There's a few of them.
E.T. Green Biscuits, don't remember them. Do you remember E.T. Green Biscuits?
No, but I remember a white and green striped, slightly minty sweet. It was semi-chewy.
A white and green striped sweet that was slightly chewy.
Yeah.
White and green sweet that was slightly chewy. Who remembers that?
Can't find them anymore.
Aniseed balls.
No.
Are they banned now?
Acid drop, maybe.
I'm sure they banned aniseed balls. I nearly died on a gobstopper on a pier. Never had one since, funnily enough. I thought it was a really good challenge to see if I could swallow it whole. You can't. Toffee crumble was always one of my favourites as well. Love toffee crumble. I'm just doing tiny little flicks that you'll see coming out into the what would be the white section of the fur. So I'm doing really tiny. If I zoom you in a bit, you'll be able to see a bit better. Let's get you in focus. I need to move the light a bit now. Pacers, I do remember Pacers. When wham bars used to be proper wham bars, yes. And when they were called Marathon, and when Curly Whirlies were massive. Opal fruits, yeah.
And the opera house wasn't actually an opera house.
I was in Belgium when I found out they changed it from Marathon to Snickers. Still don't understand how you go from Marathon to Snickers. When Freddo Chocolate was young and didn't have a mortgage. Or the 10p Space Crisps. What are they now? How much are they now?
Space Raiders?
Yeah.
Probably 15.
Oh, 15p.
Ooh. Dirty. Trying to do me wrong.
I'm just using my warm grey 2. My patrons know just how much I remember my colours. Just to start shading in what will be the white section. Now, the white section I will be keeping in the greys. So as I said at the beginning, the white sections will be the greys. The black stripes will be the purple, and then the main colour will be the blue. Oh, wagon wheels used to be like that. They used to be like the size of wagon wheels, didn't they? Or do you think it was just because our hands were like small, so they felt really massive when you were a kid? Or the ice pops that you couldn't live without? Or when you could get a 99p ice cream for 99p? Those were the days. Just using my Payne's Grey to blend out into the lighter area. I did think about doing this bit black, but I think I don't want to deviate from the colour scheme, so I'll keep it as purple as I can. There's really no there's no detail in it, so I'm just going to keep it quite smooth. No, because that's like saying I've now got a big mouth. Yeah, that's true. No, this bit I want to keep black. So the inside of the mouth and the black skin, I want to keep that colour. But it's the fur that I'm going to be changing the colour to. So I think you missed it when we were talking about that at the beginning. Which is why I'm now going to blend this out into the purple. Oh yeah, you just walk home and you'd have like a few bits of change in your purse or your pocket or whatever, and then you just nip into the chippy. Oh God, I love pork crackling. How are we looking? So you can see what I say about using the dark indigo with your purple. It's fine if you have a very dark purple, but don't be afraid to use your darker colours on top if you just want to give it that contrast. Just going to flick out in the direction. Oh, also, if you are a little bit later to this video than expected, the line work, if you are going to download it, has a load of red arrows on it, and the red arrows are to help indicate the direction of the fur. Obviously, if you're pretty seasoned with doing it, you won't need to worry about them, but I thought it might be helpful for those that are just starting out. I remember going out at 15, going in bars, getting a double cheeseburger from Mackey's and still come home with change, yeah. Mackey's was a treat. We never used to have them where we lived. Right, so in the purple section, do you know what? I'm going to use a pretty new eraser, I think. Instead of using the blue tack, I'm just very lightly. So in the purple section, I'm going to go in with my lightest colour first. And I'm going to shade that in with a solid colour. Just go over it 2-3 times so you get a nice bit of colour down. Not a lot of pressure. Okay, no worries. And then I'm going to come over and I'm not going to be too neat because, to be honest, in the black sections of fur you generally don't see a huge amount of detail. I'm just going to get enough colour down that I know that that's what it's for. Then I'm going to grab my blue, which comes out from this section here. So I'm probably going to work on it section by section so you get used to the techniques that I use to create the fur texture. I am doing ovals. It may not look like it, but I promise you I am. And then again. I don't need to worry about indenting these eyelashes because they're actually black. Nearly went for the wrong eraser. Right, so that just gives us the base. Yes, please. That was crunchy. What was that? So I'm now just going to pull in with the lighter of the blue. Doing it the wrong way, you donut. Let's try that again in the right direction. Like so. Now, a few things came up when I did this eye on the live feed on TikTok, and a few things popped up that I hadn't thought about before, that actually a few of you may be doing without realizing it. And one of them was the fact that people weren't layering over the top of each other. So I think the way I explained it was, you imagine this is the skin. The way people were drawing fur was they were doing their fur and then they were doing it like this underneath, almost in rows. But if you did that on an animal, that's how it would look. And that's not how animal fur sits. Animal fur sits one on top of the other like this, which gives you the different densities and the different layers of fur. So what you need to do is you need to replicate this when you're doing your fur. So don't be afraid to, one, mix up your fur strokes, which I quite often do just by this motion, which I do with the fingers rather than the hands. But then rather than doing the next lot underneath it, you need to be starting halfway up this section that you've done and then crisscrossing over that. And then again. And then again. And then that way it gives you a much denser fur. So I don't know if anybody has done something similar in the past where when they've done fur they've literally just gone like this, but that's certainly where the beginners do tend to make the mistakes at the moment. I mean, hopefully that helps. Sorry, the camera's wobbling because the floor wobbling. Goes in so many different directions on cats. Drives me potty. The shorter the fur, the shorter the strokes. So that gets your base starting to build up. So it's going to look quite messy for a while. I'm going to go in with my mid blue and do the same thing. I'm going to do some little strokes that come into where this white fur is as well. It's easier to bring colour into white than it is to bring white into colour, so. After this, I'm going to blend. Normally I'd work on a bigger section at a time, but as I say, I want to keep them quite small. I'm now going to go into the purple, and I'm just going to, from the blue into the purple on the edges, just add some fur strokes. And again into the white or grey area. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way, but and it starts to build up this fluff. On the bottom half round glass. But have you seen the amazing Dragonite and Eye of Sauron paintings that people do on the bottom of a half? Oh, what, like the cabochon type ones? I haven't seen any. I bet they look amazing on those. Glass gives it a real good depth, doesn't it? Right, and all I'm going to do is colour in solidly in between those. And then I'm going to do that again. With the darkest of my purple. But I'm going to be a bit more sparse around the edges. And again, I'm going to colour over the top. So the white patches blend in a little bit with the rest of the fur. I'm just going to add, because I have already added a bit of purple underneath, I'm just going to add a bit of blue now. I'm going to grab my darker of the cold grey, I'm just going to sharpen it. I just want to do the odd, not many, just the odd one. Could she have sounded any more Victorian? Night! She goes through stages of calling us mother, father. I'm sure there's an element of cynicism in there somewhere. A couple of years ago, yeah, just a couple of years ago now. So I'm going to blend with my Cold Grey 2 over the top of all that blue fur. And that creates my undercoat. And this is what I find helps me create nice soft layers. So that blends that all in. And then we can repeat the process. It is worth going over once you've blended, because your lines will get sharper over blended pencil, so you can get more detail in. I will probably do these in what I consider short bursts, so no more than an hour and a half to 2 hour installments, because I found that if I do more than a couple of hours, then my eyes really start to ache. Right, I'm now going to grab my darkest of the blue and add a few dark fur strokes in it as well. You don't need to go mad with these, just spread a bit like that. And my dark indigo, so on the inner bit here, because he's snarling a bit, you can see that it's darker in this section than it is in this section. So what I'm going to do is use my dark indigo to just darken this section up. Then I shall use my white just to blend over what I have done on the lighter bit. A little bit more solid on the purple. And then I think we're pretty much there, and that is really what I'm going to end up doing through the entire piece. So it really will be a rinse and repeat process. I am considering restarting my Patreon, but it will probably be small studies rather than we do one sort of final piece at the end of the year, but the majority of the time it will be small studies. But I don't know, I don't want to commit to anything yet. Right, so that's sort of the first little section of fur, and if I bring the camera zoom out a little bit, it gives you an idea of what we're going to be looking like. It's fantastic that you do this, but nothing is for free. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Did you say that sews was the correct way of saying it earlier? I actually missed that. I'm sorry if you did. Let me see if I can find it. I actually have a super chat. It should be on here, so you can donate straight to the super chat if you want to, but I don't expect anybody to do anything like that, to be perfectly honest. But you know, I'm grateful when people do, but I definitely am thinking of doing a Patreon at some point. Right, should we do the top of the eye now, because that's a lot of white. So pretty much all of that. So I'm just going to shade that all in. This is with my lightest cold grey. So you always start really, this is how I work. Everyone will work differently. But I always start with my lightest shade first and then build up my darks on top by leaving negative space in between. It means that you get this really nice natural fur. Have you? Would you be happy if it was just studies? Studies I can get done in an evening. You know, the kids are in bed, I can actually get it done and recorded. It's not so much of an issue. I mean, really the only reason why I stopped was lockdown was getting really bad, and with Amelie, I mean, you guys have seen it. Every time I'm on a TikTok live, I can never have any time on my own. And I don't mind, because she gets a lot out of it as well. She likes talking to people. Right, we've got a bit of longer hair above his eye, so I'm doing longer pencil strokes now. Okay, I'll work a schedule out then, and then I think I can work on something. Hi, is that Alessa? Is that how you pronounce it? Alessa? Elisa? Alicia? I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Right, I'm going to go in with my grey just to sketch in, although I shouldn't because it's not going to be black. So stop doing that and let's go in with the purple. I need to block in basically where the purple is going to be. Do it with the light one. Hang on a minute, I'm getting confused, which isn't hard right now. There we go. Right, these eyebrows will need indenting, which I always end up forgetting to do. Oh, hi, yes, I remember. You were there when we did that last night, weren't you? And we're doing the full tiger as promised. So we know that this section in here will be blue. Sounds like it's chucking it down again. So let's just get that marked. We've got a little bit of blue in there. So I'm just going to use the cold greys on the section above the eye. I hope so. I think it is going to look really, really cool. It purely was because I found this cat eye on Pexels, which I thought was really pretty. And his eye was like this mix of blue and purple. I think someone had photoshopped it, but I really liked it. And I just couldn't be bothered to get any more pencils out the drawer. So that's how we ended up rocking those colours. I do remember. Sorry, there's a massive delay between the video and you guys, which I don't know why, seeing as I've put it on low latency, so there shouldn't be any reason. I'm just going to blend over the whole lot with my lightest cold grey. Then as the purple comes around, it tucks under the eye. Nearly all cats have this thing where it's very dark as it comes out from the eye. Again, just following third direction, I'm pulling from the purple into the grey. And that creates the natural hairs that sort of sit over the top. Yeah, it's a really lovely colour, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to getting a good chunk done. There's not much blue that you can see under here, so I'm happy to go over the top with the purple. So if we were to go back to Patreon, what would be your preference? Like just animal studies or people studies as well? The reference I'm using is this one. There is a link in the description if you want to have a go, and it takes you to the line work that I've created for it. I'm going to grab my Payne's Grey. Time. Right, I'm going to go till 9:30, 9:45, and that should be enough for the eyeballs. Both, maybe. I feel comfortable drawing animals than people. Okay. So I think, yeah, look, sort of eyes, nose. I don't know whether the nose would be something of interest. Mouth, ears. I don't know. I shall have to seriously have a consideration and sit and work things out. It's certainly going to be easier for the line work now I've got the pad. What do you mean? I think doing people portraits is a good way of teaching yourself about blending, because it is so important to have smooth blending when it comes to doing people. I'm just trying to make sure I keep the third direction. A few gaps in here. Right, I'm going to indent these whiskers and no eyebrows before I forget, because I know I will forget, because that's the sort of thing I do. They're quite fine on the top of his head. They're actually really chunky down here, so if you've got the chunkier ball tool, I would opt for the bigger end for some of the bigger whiskers. So I've got my lino on the bottom. I'm just going to lighten up the lines. Those two are black, so it doesn't matter. That one's black, so that doesn't matter, but this one does. So I'm going to use the bigger end of the ball tool. Probably see just about where I've indented. I think you got me motivated colours again, but finding the picture that I like. Yeah, honestly, the finding the right references can actually be really tough, because you don't want to feel like you're repeating everything again. That's part of the reason why Patreon can be really tricky as well. The link is in the description of this live feed, so you might have to come back to the live feed later if you can't access the link. In fact, I might even still have the link in my clipboard. No. Let me get the link for you now and I'll put it in the comments. It is... in my photos. It's in this album. I don't know whether that link is going to work. Hopefully it will do, but that will take you to where all the line work is for tutorials that have been and will be available on the YouTube channel soon, because there are some others that will be available soon. So we'll be working on that as well. So yeah, there's a whole load of stuff happening. It's just finding the time. Hopefully that'll work for you. So I think that's the majority that one needs doing. Because this one's smaller than these, I'm going to use the smaller end of the ball tool or the dotting tool. So I should now be able to erase any pencil out of the valleys. So when I come to colour over the top, I don't know how well you're going to see that on camera at the moment. If I come and do this next section above it, you'll see what I mean. If anybody is interested in the tools that I have used today, all the products that I use are linked in the description. I have a Amazon affiliate link shop. And in there I've got my own little shop front, which I list all the products that I use or I have used in the past and I found very good. Yes, you can, absolutely. It's how I do the beards. Remember the old fisherman I did, and Tom Hardy and things, all of those were done with the ball tools. In fact, it works really, really, really well with graphite. So I know that all back here is going to be blue, so I'm just going to shade over again, just so you can see you in. There you go. So you can see how well the indenting method can work. And then we've got some nice clean eyebrows. It's good, isn't it? You've got to love it. I can get that any brighter. Just trying to lighten it up for you because I'm zoomed in. I had to turn that up. It makes it a bit blurry, but it means that you get to see the colours a bit more. I'm just pushing out into where the blue section will be. When you come to do these stripes, you really need to look in the third direction. So if you are say this is the black section, this is the blue set, or what would be the purple and the blue. If the third direction is going this way, you can't see that at all. So this will be the purple section, this will be the blue section. So if the third direction is going this way, you work your first strokes in this way. So your blue will go up into the purple, your purple will go up into the blue. If you bring your purples down too much, it will look like the fur is a little bit misaligned. So just bear that in mind. Definitely need to finish my beagle drawing, and another one that's been babysitting in a metal bucket. Yeah, get your stuff up in the group. Remember, the group isn't just about physical, artwork like this. Even the wood turners are more than welcome to come and share in my group. This is pretty solid in here, so I'm just going to get that solid. get rid of that pencil line. When it comes to these bits here, they do blend in, so you need to bring some fur direction in just to sort of blend the two together. God, every time I move it, sorry guys. There we go. Yep, not a problem. And I've lost the camera again. And this is going really well. Right, I'm spending some money on a USB hub, I think. I need to stop being so tight. Right, what was I doing? The Amazon. Amazon. Blizz still hasn't got back to me. Right, Amazon. My storefront. Right, this is my Amazon affiliate shop. So what I mean by affiliate is if you buy out of the lists that I've put up, I get a percentage. But I've put together everything in there that I've either used in the past, I use now, or that I know is very good quality, but I haven't been able to get it myself yet. Purple. There we go. Right, we're all back. We're all back. Welcome back. Seriously cannot wait to see. I haven't been this excited to crack on with the drawing in so long. I'm doing the watch commission now and it's pretty intense, so it's something I need to do when I'm not filming, because it can be quite monotonous for you guys. But I have made a start. And the magnifying glass has been out already. So I think we're going to crack on with this every Wednesday on the live feed until we are done, because I really want to see people's results. So if you haven't had a chance to start this evening, spend a week just getting yourself set up and started, because I'd love to see some progress of these in the group, or tag me on Insta, wherever it is that you tend to share your stuff. Quite a lot of light suddenly glaring on it. Shush iPad. So you guys that are going to have a go, what colours do you think you're going to be doing? Have you picked them already? Oh, you've done it. Well done. We take those as victories. I'm going to draw these eyebrows in while it's fresh in my mind. A little bit thicker where it goes into the fur. And this one starts off dark and then goes up into the white, and then we've got a dark one in here as well. And you don't have to be exact to the reference, it's just there as guidance really. Purple and turquoise, that sounds nice. There's nothing wrong with that. I nearly went with these greens because I really liked these greens, but I might look at doing another animal in this same, not that it's an original concept, but yeah, I'm quite, I don't know, like maybe a leopard or something, not sure yet. Not entirely sure. I just realised that purple needs to come up and under a little bit more. There we go. I'm liking it so far. I was a bit worried that the eye wasn't going to work, but actually I think the eye is okay. Feathers in a rainbow. I did think about that. We could actually do that for a Patreon. Two colours, two main colours, but you can use light, medium, dark in those colours. So like this is my purple range. So my light, my medium, my dark. This is my blue range. And then for the white areas, what would be the white fur, I'm using cold greys, and I recommend doing the same. Unless you are going for quite warm colours, then maybe you could use warm greys. But I think warm greys will probably possibly make it look a bit muddy. I don't know, but not you. Oh, you and me doing peacock stuff. I think we will have to, though. I think we will at some point. But if I have to go down, you're coming down with me. Also think of the colour wheel. Don't just think of, I mean, obviously do it in your favourite colours, which is what I've done, but think of your colour wheel as well. Don't just, you know, if you want to do something out of the ordinary, because actually doing the opposites can work really well for contrast. So they're worth considering as well. So you could do the purple and the green rather than a teal. You know, you could use your dark blue and your oranges and that type of thing. Or purple and orange, isn't it, really? So maybe have a bit of a play with a couple of colours. But, you know, I really want you guys to stretch yourself. and see what you can come up with, because I mean the basis of it really is to show that you can do something that looks realistic and it not be the same colour. So, you know, you can take a realistic reference and you can really twist it around and do it in your own thing. And I just think it's a really nice, refreshing way to look at something. And as I say, I have not been so excited to do something like this in an extremely long time. It's been, you know, as with everybody, it's been a really tough time for getting yourself in gear and getting yourself sorted and having a bit of enthusiasm. So it's nice to be back in the saddle as such. You know, these are the sorts of colours I would do in watercolour, but why should I just restrict it to watercolour? Especially when it works so well doing it in colour pencil as well. I'll tell you what, I think I might do an owl. An owl in the green colour. What are you focusing on? You're focusing on my hand, aren't you? I mean, ordinarily I wouldn't be this tentative about putting colour down, but I think because we're doing it in an unusual way, I'm a little bit more sensitive to putting colour down in one big go. Like that stops here, and that stops here. Just blocking that bit in. Honestly, Emily, it was down to just pure laziness. When I've started doing the watch commission, but as I say, it's really intensive, and when you're watching, it can be really boring and monotonous. And I'm literally sat there with a magnifying glass. It's not the most exciting things for you guys to watch. And, you know, I wanted to do something with you guys that could be a bit more fun. So I found this cat reference on Pexels, which was this colour eye, but he was grey. So it'd definitely been photoshopped. But because I couldn't be bothered to get any more pencils out of my drawer, I literally just used what I had in my hand, and that's how it developed. And I just thought, do you know what? I absolutely adore it. Really, really loved the way it turned out. So I thought, I've got to do a full tiger in these colours. It's just got to be done, isn't it? So it was through pure laziness. Win for me, I would say. And for you guys. Right, I can actually feel my head going, nope, I've had enough now. I think once we come on to do the larger parts next week, I will be doing some of this on a TikTok live feed. So if you come back and, you know, another portion is done, don't be shocked. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, do it. Do it and just see what happens. So I'm going to call it a night tonight. hopefully it's inspired you to try something a little bit different, a little bit out there. But we'll continue on with this next week, as I say. So if you need to have a chance to catch up, if you're watching this later on, don't forget that the links are not only in the comments now, but they're in the description, or they should be in the description. I'll check after I've logged off. But yeah, please come and share progress. I would love to see this developing in the group, or tag me on TikTok or Instagram or wherever. But I know there's a massive lag between me talking and you hearing. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I think it's just going to be quite fun once it starts going. TikTok lives happen organically. I didn't even think yesterday's was going to happen because all hell broke loose in the house. And I had it all planned. I literally had my phone ready to press the live button, and then I couldn't go live for 3 hours. So the TikTok lives are really sporadic. But if I know I'm doing one, I'll pop you a message. Oh, break from the old glasses. Have a lovely evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is, where you are. Stay safe, social distance and all that stuff. And yeah, I shall see you guys on the next live feed. Take care. Bye.